You know, with the mini scrap video ideas I had for March and April, this is literally the first time you get to see my background. I mean, it changed a bit, but you know, a debut is a debut. Although it is collecting dust a lot. Hello everybody, welcome back to the YouTube channel. A little bit of a quick one here as I get to tell you my predictions and also while running on the card as well for All Star Grand Queendom for Sunday, April 26th. Well, if you're in the West Coast and it's just an hour at the 25th, but you know what I mean. Now, we're not going to go into fully details into the match itself, the backstories or anything like that. I'm a little bit of an unprofessional, if I want to say. But if you want more of a detailed rundown or anything like that, please go out there and search other videos on the pay-per-view itself that will, basically give you everything that you need, like the backstory and everything like that. But we begin with our 3 pre-show matches as Aya Sakura will take on Kikyo Furusawa in a singles match. Granted, you might say this is Maki Ito versus Aya too, considering, you know. But I truly believe Aya Sakura will come out of Yokohama with the W over Kikyo. Needless to say, Kouzen Angels need some wins before the eventual downfall. More on that later. Well, Anne finally get to the wins column as she will tag along with Akira Kurugande, taking on the team of Motoi and Kotatsu. Well, thanks for showing up, Anne, but yeah, a little harsh, I know. But either way, Motoi and Kotatsu are going to get out of here with the win. And unfortunately, Anne will continue to go down the Shadow Realm of Stardom and pretty much will end up in the Wakatsukiyama territory of a bunch of losses. I'm sorry, kid. Match number 3 of the pre-show will be your main event of this segment, but also it will be a 6-way non-title high-speed affair as Unimon will take on against Momokogo, Lacey, Tomoka Inaba, Xena, and Tabata. Although she might not look like a high-speed wrestler, those lightning-fast kicks of hers will surely do the job and classify her as high-speed, as I truly believe Tomoka will come out with the win out here and also get a title shot for Unimon's high-speed championship. Into the main card we go, as match number 1 of the main card will feature a singles match between Natsupoi and Maki Ito. It's the match everybody wanted since Maki Ito joined Stardom. Why? Again, look it up for yourself, but it's very clear that Natsupoi had a few choice of words for TJPW, and it still resides to this today. People that Yuka Sakazaki wasn't part of the Vegas show, because if they cross paths, regardless, I think Natsupoi will avenge her Tej demons as she will come out with the win, beating Maki Ito, and pretty much putting the Kawaii Championship into retirement now. Gone, but not forgotten. Match number 2 will feature a gauntlet tag team match, featuring the teams of Saya Ida and B. Priestley, Ami and Hina, SLK and May, FWC, Waka and Rion, and Pink Devil. There are a bunch of teams to choose from, and Waka and Rion, I'm sorry. Well, let's just toss it out there. Okay, Pink Devil wins this match. With Rina's momentum from the US and everything like that, and also coming back from that injury scare, which pretty much saw her out of Spark, pretty much so Pink Devil might have a chance to regain some ground and potentially be O2 Line's next challengers. Again, more on that later, but also spoilers. You don't care about this, I'm just doing this for fun. Match number 3 will see the future of Stardom Championship being defended as Emma Maishima takes on against Rana Yagami. Of course, Emma Maishima won the Rookie Tournament to get this title opportunity, but it looks like it's going to be V3 for Yagami, as I have her winning and defending her title. Match number 4 is another singles affair, as Sayoriano takes on Fua-chan. Of course, we were seeing these two fight it out in the Cinderella tournament, but it ended in a double draw due to them going to the outside of the ropes. So pretty much there's still enough in the tank left for those two, so this time we'll see a conclusive winner, and it'll be Sayoriano beating Fua-chan. And I believe I saw somewhere around that if Fua lost, she will have to wrestle under her real name. So, yeah, Sayoriano wins. In the middle of this one, we have Saki Kashima's retirement ceremony. And of course, a lot of speculations on who might be showing up or anything. But if it's to believe, or in my opinion, if the appearance of Nanae Takahashi has any indication to say, as she is strongly considered now part of the Marigold roster even after retirement, it is strong to believe that we might actually see an appearance of an icon. But I think that photo stealing copyright thing might have put some flames into that bridge. But regardless, it would be very nice to see Mayu Iwatani show up for Kashima, as they had a strong connection in the Stardom lore. So hopefully we get to see that. But if not, then it's pretty much a ceremony that everyone's got to cry to, especially me as well. Match number 5, a late stipulation to the hardcore rules, as it'll be a drunken hardcore match. It's a team of Zu Suzuki, Rina Yamashita against the team of Maika and Hanako. Of course, everybody was a bit critical about this match because why are you putting the former EXV members after EXV broke up? But regardless, the rivalry continues, no matter what the factions were or anything like that. But I truly believe EXV will get their last hurrah as Mike and Hanako come out with the win. And now we head into the golden territory of this pay-per-view as 4 titles are up for grabs. And we begin with the IWGP Women's Championship as a returning Megan Bayne takes on Shuri. No question about that, Shuri has been the strongest and dominant champion of this belt so far, even though it is her second reign. We don't talk about the split there. But regardless, it looks like Shuri has some stiff competition up against Megan Bayne, as she's also has been having a run over in AEW. But regardless, if you could tell by TJPW's reaction of the inspiration from AEW to TJ, I think you split those apart from AEW to Stardom, I still say Megan Bayne still has a chance. However, it's still Shuri's title to defend, and she will get out of Yokohama with the win with her V3. Next title match will be the Goddesses of Stardom Tag Team Championships as O2 line of Azumi and Miyu Amasaki will take on BMI 2000 of Tora and Ruaka. Of course, this is the first 3 matches of hate defenses that pretty much will go up against the faces of Stardom here, as I predict that O2 line will finally get over the hump and finally get the gold as Azumi gets the one title that she's missing from her records, as her and Amasaki will come out of Yokohama with the titles and crown as new champs. Match number 8, the Wonder of Stardom Championship of Hanan versus Konami. I wonder what the Hanan guy has to say. Obviously, Konami's got to defend it, right? I'm just messing with y'all. Yes, I believe Hanan's time is now, that she will indeed win the Wonder of Stardom Championship and finally cement herself as a main player to Stardom. All she needed was the belt itself, no matter which one it was. And yeah, I believe this is truly Hanan's time to shine and see what she's made of, holding a championship of her own that's not a tag team title. Although I might be emotional for this one, but at least it's happy tears. Because the next match, I might be shedding some sad tears too. Main event though, match number 9, World of Stardom Championship, as Sayaka Kurara will take on Sayaka Matani in her 10th defense of the title. I will admit, I've been going back and forth with this decision, and although the TJ results over there of a strong champion being dethroned by the unlikely underdog, pretty much so this doesn't have to imply anything here in Stardom, because it's been going back and forth between Sayaka Kamatani's hatred of Kurara and Kurara's hatred to Kamatani of being the bad guy. Regardless though, the added stipulation that if Kurara loses, Cosmic Angels will have to disband. And if you know me, I got into Stardom because of Cosmic Angels, because of Tam, Unagi, Mina. That's basically my stable right there. And sure, I might have been going back and forth now with them and Stars now because of Hanan, but at this point, Cosmic Angels is still in my heart. Unfortunately, I too have to pull the trigger on this one and say that Kurara will indeed have to disband Cosmic Angels, as Sayaka Matani will defend and win her match and then elevate her title defense to double digits as she reaches V10. Oh boy, that was tough to do. Predictions are really hard, but also takes are really hard. 13 minutes right now recording this, one take, since, it was just predictions. There was no script on this, but regardless, hopefully this pay-per-view will be one of the best ones that Stardom has produced, and hopefully it's one that people will talk about in a good way. Hopefully not in a bad way. If Kurara does indeed win the championship, I better not hear one single word from you, mother... Stardom's All Star Grand Queendom will begin at 3 p.m. Japan time, which is 2 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Central, 12 midnight over in the mountains, and of course 11 p.m. for you people in the West Coast. So pretty much so you get an hour viewing it on the 25th. But with that being said, what are your expectations for All Star Grand Queendom? Are you expecting any title changes to affect you? Are you expecting to cry at Kashima's retirement? But of course, the most important thing, how do you think in the background? Pretty much so we moved studios, or rooms to say, and pretty much so this is where the main operation is going to be from now on. But yeah, with that being said, hopefully guys you enjoyed the pay-per-view. Hopefully I come back here for a skit or something, like the fan reactions, so more on that later. With that being said, I'll see ya when I see ya. Take care, everybody.